Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Chantele. And we are talking about Survivor South Africa, episode 5.
But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe. Please give this video a thumbs up. Really helps the channel, the algorithm, tells the world that we know what we're talking about. So help us out with that. Whoa, what an episode. Like, jam-packed from the get-go.
So good, so good. Like, I was just, I was thinking because there's been so much hoopla going on about Big Brother that I was like, am I still going to be super excited about, Survivor South Africa? And it did not let me down at all. I was in it and I was like, I'm watching this. This is super, I'm so excited to talk about it. So yeah, it still holds.
Right. They must have known, let's drop this episode when everyone's freaking out about Big Brother 23, because it was quite the episode. And they get right into it right from the top. We're starting over on Vuna, and Teresa is just feeling like she's in danger, and she's trying to come up with something here.
Yeah, and this is fair. Like if you're on the bottom, or if you feel like you're going to be, voted out, of course you're going to be like scrambling to a certain extent, especially if you're a super fan, which it seems like Teresa is. But what I was curious about for the first part, there's a few things that I'm curious about with this episode. Is she Anesu says that Tyson found the idol, and Teresa's like, no, I didn't see it. I checked everybody's bags. I was like, that kind of information to offer up to somebody that you're not fully working with, I was very surprised by that tactic.
This is just the beginning of me being very confused on choices being made. I think Teresa might be missing a filter of some sort. Like, she says things that I think maybe don't say. I already went through their bags. And I was like, I'm sorry, you went through our bags? She's like, yeah, I didn't find it. Okay. But Teresa did have the information, because she is saying, like, I want that note, I want that letter. So she does know that Tyson has it. But she was going to just take it herself, I guess. She
was she going to steal the note and just use it without asking? Was she going to steal the idol? If I was Anesu, I would not want to be working with Teresa, because I'd just be like, I can't trust you. You're going around, you're scavenging for clues and idols and just going through my personal belongings. Like, yes, it's fair game because you're on the island, but it's also not. I just would not be interested in working with her.
Well, if you're going to do it, I think keep it a secret. I guess it's fair game, but it's super shady. So keep it on the down low. Yeah, this whole thing was like, what? But she does get the note, Anesu does get it for her from Tyson. And then it does work. She shows it to Renier and Dino. And she's doing the whole look, guys, let's work together. I'm going to be here whether you vote for me or not, like this note. And they seem to fall for it at this point.
I was actually surprised that they fell for it. I was surprised also that I would want to see proof of the idol. Anybody can have a piece of paper. She didn't really show it to them properly so they can read it and make sure that it's, in the handwriting of Survivor.
Speaking of, hi, Teresa.
What happened there? Tell us, please.
We're going to be talking about you a lot today. big episode for you. I thought at this point this is a great move, because they're falling for it. And you're like, okay, here we are. She's in the mix. Let's go.
I was surprised though that they fell for it, because like I was saying, I would want to see the actual idol. Who knows when that idol was used? Because it doesn't seem like when people use idols that they give away the parchment paper to Nico. So that could be from who knows when. And so I would want to see them both together, maybe to see that this idol is with this parchment paper, not just one without the other. So, I'm happy that it worked. I was also really surprised that that Anesu and Tyson gave it up. Like Nessu kind of had to convince Tyson to do it. Like, okay, no, do this, give it to Teresa, and we'll see if this will help us further move further along in the game. But it worked. But I was surprised.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I kind of like it though, because showing a full idol is that's a big reveal. Mm-hmm. So if you're just like, look, the idol is like hidden in my butt, like it's down in my hoo-ha or something. Like I'm not whipping it out for you right now. Here, just look at the little parchment. Like I could buy that.
Could, but with the seeming scramble that's been happening, it just would be so convenient that the next person that's going to be voted out just happens to have an idol clue and just can't show you the actual idol right now. My spidey senses would be going off.
Yeah. Well, it seems like they might go off later. Yes. But right now we're going to jump over, like I said, so quick in this episode. We are like diving in. We're going to basically an individual immunity challenge at this point. They step up. Nico tells us, haha, you're all going to tribal. So just do this challenge for basically reward for food. And this food, I could not understand what he was saying. Teresa actually responded to me on Twitter and spelled it out for me, but I still can't tell you what it is.
I had looked it up, and then my phone is dead, so I don't actually have it on my phone anymore. But I believe it's kind of like a beef sausage with coriander. It's and they have like I think it's pickled toppings as opposed to like mustard and ketchup, and so it's kind of like a beef sausage type thing, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Sean told me that it's all beef, and it's spelled like Boer Wars. But it sounded to me like Nico was saying Barsh.
I really didn't know what he said. I did have to look it up. So you weren't the only one. Yes, I was like,
that is how it's spelled. But it's in like a sausage roll. Like I think it's close to like an Italian sausage where it's like an all beef sausage with like like you said, like sauerkraut, like vinegary, like pickled, sorry. Anyway, they were loving it. They're excited about it. They want it. Whoever is last man standing is going to get a double portion. Worth it to fight for it? Or do you want to compete for a trip to Immunity Island? That's your other option.
Which I thought was interesting. I didn't realize how it was going to be set up. I wasn't sure if like there was going to be two competitions in one, or one competitions where both the people, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. Anyways, how they ended up doing it was they had two competitions going on at the same time. And so I thought this was really good odds because it ended up being Nessu and Teresa, who are both kind of on the outs of their tribe currently, be going for the trip to Immunity Island. And then everybody else was going for food because they're going to have to go to, they're going to have to go anyways to tribal. So they might as well get some food.
I can't believe we only have two people. Nessu and Teresa are the ones battling out for this. And then turns out this is the easiest competition ever for Nessu because I don't know, Teresa, did you sneeze? Did you like stumble? Did the wind blow you over? Like it's nothing, unfortunately.
I mean, I guess if you don't get your balance right away, it's super easy to fall because they're kind of standing on like a perch and they have rice on their head. And so if like you're not stable when he's like ready, set, go, and you're not there, like you're just going to fall off immediately. I did already peg though Nessu to do well in that challenge. I thought that any of the women will say that or yogis exactly would be comfortable with standing and balancing on one leg. And so I was expecting her to do well. It was just a lot faster than I expected.
Hi, Sean. We're glad that you survived your allergic reaction. That was terrifying. We didn't like it, but glad you got better very quickly. And you're huge in this episode as well. So that's exciting too. Yes, very hungry. And Yogi was going to do great. Felt horrible that Teresa was out so quickly. But it seemed like maybe this bowl of rice was really hard to balance in general, or maybe the peg was hard to stand on because boom, 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 we're just dropping like flies. Like we're just falling left and right here.
Well, I wouldn't just necessarily think most men would do that well in this challenge. Like balancing things is usually women do better in them, especially if they're shorter. And so I was expecting a woman to win both sides, and so that ended up happening because I just didn't think the men were going to do well.
No, but Tyson did do pretty darn good. He gets himself at the end there. So they're all sort of falling. We get down to Warda, Tyson, Keon, and Nicole. And we get down to Nicole and Tyson, which means Vuna definitely has won the reward. They're excited about the food. This is actually only 7 minutes in. That's how hard this challenge was. Okay. They put up the 7 minutes and I was like, oh, what?
I didn't see that. I thought it was maybe longer than that. It's funny because like I was thinking about how Anesu was going to be, I thought she was going to stay for a long time. And then I'm writing like, oh, Warda, yeah, she's a yoga teacher. Yeah, she's going to. And then as soon as I'm writing that down, she totally falls off. I was like, oh, okay, I'll stop that sentence.
You're like, the challenge is over? What? I just started my notes. There is so much chatter going on. I guess the sense of like, oh, we're all going to tribal. People are having the opportunity to talk to former tribe mates and like, who are you guys thinking? Are you voting out this person? Thanks for voting out Paul. Like a lot is going on behind the scenes here. And then Nicole ends up winning and she's not even hungry.
She's going to force it down. She's going to force it down. Well, okay. The portions were huge. Like he had them out on the table and you can see like they're very big. Obviously bread is going to be quite filling. And so she's getting a double portion. Her plate was huge. Huge. And she's quite a small person. So I can understand that, but definitely don't say that out loud to other people that are starving.
Yes, you're on Survivor. Like, I don't even want to hear that as a viewer, and I'm fully fed over here. Like,
and why did she win it? What? She shouldn't have bothered winning it then, because Tyson was on her side as well, right?
Well, I think it's questionable, like, how much on the side. So, yeah, I think it did come down to, like, well, at this point, I'm not going to want Tyson to, be well fed. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I thought the same thing at first. I was like, so just don't win it.
He was kind of on the chopping block. Like he's on the outs. Like at least then maybe like, hey, Tyson, do you want this? And maybe just have like a little mini bond that she can create with him and like not vote him out next because it's going to be most likely Teresa, him, Annette, well, maybe not Anesu or Kieran. You know what I mean? So like, I think that would have been probably smart for Nicole just to like maybe rope Tyson in a little bit.
Yeah, spoiler alert, she does get her pina colada.
You know I looked out for it too.
Yes. I was like, what'd they serve her? That's not a beer? I was like, what? She got it. I wouldn't have rum. If I were like partially starving, rum is not happening. Like,
what would you eat? Or what would you drink?
Like maybe if I can't drink, like a beer would have been okay because that fills you up a little bit. But like if I didn't want beer, I think I would have just asked for wine. Like rum, I'd be passed out and not playing the game. I would be missing all the conversations. I'd be like,
maybe that's what they want. Or maybe that's
Nicole's like, that's fine. I'm down with that. Okay, so that's where we are with our challenge. We're going to go to Immunity Island up next. And Anesu, she is ready. She wants to win some advantage here. Her challenge is to memorize some objects and then close it up and copy them. What she gets is one of those where she leaves tribal.
Yes.
Gets safety but can't vote type situations, or she will receive a vote against her, which is awful. Oh, definitely so bad.
Especially in the position that she's in, because she's going this time. Her going to Immunity Island is because she's in dire need of saving herself, like, and trying to maybe maneuver the numbers in a different way if she can. And so saving herself and then losing the next year, like getting a vote on the next tribal, like that's terribly detrimental to her game. So
yeah, that was super, super risky for her to stay for that. But you have to, like, she needs it. And isn't it interesting that she's in this spot because she started out in such a sweet spot?
Well, I think though they showed her starting out in such a sweet spot, it has to come around full circle. Like this could be part of her story arc here, where it's like she was strong, she was with everybody, and then we see her now. She's on the bottom, but she's surviving, and then there's going to be the swap or a merge where she might get some more of her people, and then see her rise up again, and then maybe it's going to be her against Santoni, like head to head or something.
Yes.
That'd be cool.
That might be happening. Well, she has a great strategy with this. She makes up a little story to get them in order, closes it, seems to have no problem with copying the order. She gets it right, and boom, she has this advantage until down to final 7.
Which is a pretty good advantage. And then we learn after that she doesn't have to necessarily use it herself. She could also give it to somebody else, which I think is pretty, a little bit more powerful, that she can be like, hey, I have safety right now. I know this person's going to be in trouble. Let me give this to this person, and I'll make them leave tribal and make everybody have to, change their plan. So I think that is also very good, that she can choose anybody.
Isn't that interesting? That's how you get it. Okay, well, now we are going to just continue this fast pace. We are going boom, boom, boom. We got to cover both tribes because they're both going to tribal, and we're going to start at Zomba. Hey, easy vote, guys. Chappies, right? Yeah, absolutely. But Carla's like, hey, what about Santoni? And I was like, what? And then Amy was like, I'm going to go tell Santoni about that. And then Santoni's like, we don't like this. And then we see Amy, Sean, Anella, Santoni, and they're like, Carla's the one we're worried about. And I was like, whoa, okay.
I was so worried there for Santoni for a bit. Yes. I was just like, because this could be the way that she just gets taken out, because she is kind of being a double agent here. She has been kind of calling the shots. She has not been fully true to her word to everybody, obviously. And so, I mean, it would be very easy, seemingly, to convince people to let's take her out, because she's kind of a wild card here. So I was like, oh my goodness, is this how is Carla going to take out Santoni? And then when I saw the 4 of them and Amy tells him, I cheered. I was so happy that, I'm sorry, Carla, but that she was not going to know what the actual plan was.
I was so happy just to see Amy tell, because this whole, like you said, Santoni's a double agent. We know that. She's been honest about I am close to Chappies, but I want to work with you girls. And Carla has been so vocal and really working to get her way on so many of these votes. So to see Amy kind of quickly work against her, I was very surprised. And of course, it just makes it more exciting to be like, oh, yeah.
I know. And I think also it's kind of perfectly encapsulates what I love about the social element of Survivor. It's what happened on day 1, 2, and 3 is haunting all these people. And Chappie's making that decision to be nice to Santoni, regardless if it was for his own benefit, she remembers that. She has a soft spot for him now. She doesn't necessarily want to see him go. And so I love that building those relationships have been so important, and it's really, we're seeing how it plays out, and it's not in favor for Carla.
No, agreed. So let's jump over to Vuna here. And Marisha is being pretty vocal about wanting Teresa out.
Yeah, I mean, she was kind of always on the bottom. We were rooting for her from the beginning, hoping that she'd get some time to get her footing in. And I didn't realize how much Marisha was not a fan of hers. But it seems as though you kind of want to have Marisha on your side, or I feel like people listen to her and kind of want to do what she says. So I thought it was bad news for Teresa.
Yes. Well, because of Teresa's original move here with the note at the top of the episode, Renier is actually trying to work with her. And so he's hearing, her name and wants to deflect. And so he has suggested Tyson here at this moment, just trying to not be obvious about it, but throw out other names here.
Yeah, I mean, I was really happy about this because I want Teresa to stay. Like, I
Yeah.
want her to figure out how to stay. And I was also feeling, I'm like, I wish that Anesu was there, because I feel as though she would have been able to kind of concoct a plan that would have helped them all be able to stay. With, they have the papers, so they can even push them to maybe split the votes, and then they actually do have an idol. So let's figure out who they're going to play. Like, I feel like if she was there, they would have all been able to stay. But instead, Teresa ended up scrambling. And even when Tyson got some prime information from Keon, who I don't know why she said a word to Tyson about Teresa being the vote, but but Tyson's trying to work with Teresa here, and tells her, and then shit hits the fan. Teresa tells people this, and
yes, I think you hit it right on the nose there. Anesu not being a camp made a huge difference this time. And yeah, the communication, like Tyson even mentioned, like he's not being looped in, he's off to the side, he's seemingly only talking to Teresa and Kieran at this point. There's a lot of scrambling and lack of communication. And then, like, for a second, I was like, Keon's on the show. Oh my God, here she is. Oh, wait, it's because she fumbled and she revealed information that she wasn't supposed to, which then gets her in trouble on this side over here. But then Tyson's talking to Teresa. Teresa's spilling the beans now. And I honestly think...
I was saying Tyson's name. Tyson told me that Keon said. I'm like...
This is the moment. This is the moment. Up until here, I'm like, yes, girl, hustle, get yourself here. And then just one step too many. And this is what backfires, because Tyson ain't about that. Like, why am I working with you when you're spreading my name? Basically.
Absolutely. And especially with, like, he was fortunate enough to be getting some prime information from, like, the people that are their enemies, basically, telling it to her so they can maybe figure out something so they can all stay. And instead she outs his source, and like, it's not helpful for anybody to out the source. So you want to be told this information. So I felt bad for Tyson. One of my questions is, how did Kieran kind of get in with that group? It seems like he was involved in some of these conversations. I was almost like, why is Tyson by himself? Like, shouldn't it be Kieran, Tyson, Teresa, and Anesu? Like, weren't those all the four people that were on the outs of this particular tribe? But Kieran was, like, kind of in all the conversations.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I had to go back and look at, like, my notes from early episodes, because it was so confusing. I was like, wait, who used to work together and who was working together? Because Kieran's all of a sudden in these conversations, and Teresa and Tyson seem like so tight all of a sudden. I was like, have they always been this tight?
Well, just on the outs. Yeah,
exactly. That will bring you together. But so now it's the following day, and it is just such a hot topic of, like, who the heck has the idol? Does Teresa have it? Like, that's the conversation. She has now shown the parchment to Marisha, trying to make this work. And so, but Marisha's the one who's been like, she doesn't have it. But now, does she have it? How do we split these votes? Like, how do we do this? Who has an idol?
Well, I wish that they'd showed us the conversation with Teresa and Marisha, because, like, I wanted to see how that went down, to see whether or not she was buying her the parchment and this and that. Like, I wanted to see that. I don't know why they didn't put in this tiny conversation. I guess maybe it wasn't caught on tape, but, like, I did want to see that, because I was like, oh, all of a sudden she knows more as well, and, like, we get to see that. It would have been good to see. I was kind of confused as to how I could, figure out on my own, like, how could we get these votes to work so Teresa stays and Tyson stays? But as soon as Tyson does not want to work with Teresa anymore, it's done. right? Like, because he would have been having to like maybe give her his idol, like it would have had to be something like that.
Yeah.
And he wasn't willing to do that for her anymore. He's only now willing to save himself, maybe Kieran, and Teresa is just kind of out of the running for his protection at all. So
yeah, at this point, they're just splitting the vote between Tyson and Teresa. Like, well, can't figure it out. Let's just split the vote. And honestly, that's the play. That's the smart move, right? We don't know who has an idol. We split the votes. Let's jump back over to Zomba. That's what we do here in the edit. And Warda's giving us the soundbite. You guys, we're keeping it simple. Easy vote, y'all.
I'm just feeling
easy.
so bad for Warda because like she's kind of in over her head, and it seems to me, I mean, I know I'm just watching and I'm analyzing and critiquing, but it just seems pretty obvious that for the third time, if you think it's just going to be a super easy vote, you're probably not involved in the vote because like you didn't get a clue yet. Like this is not, it shouldn't be that easy, and it hasn't been, and you've been on the other side of the numbers. So
it honestly becomes an easy vote, just a little flipped from what you say. Like this one is much more simple than what's happening over on Vuna. But what the vote really is Carla here. And they're just playing that it's chappies. They're nodding along. And Sean slayed me when he said tits up at this point. I about died and fell over. But I loved seeing all the people working against Carla and Warda. I mean, I'm sorry that it's Carla and Warda are being left out, but like, I loved that at one point, Carla's like, Sean's my shield. Love him. Great. And he's all like, hee. I'm voting a different way.
Like, I really thought that somebody was going to smile or slip up. Like, I don't know how well I could hide this blind side from my face. Like, they did a really good job.
They did.
Because Carla should feel unsafe. I mean, she does feel unsafe. We'll talk about it probably more at Tribal. But, like, I would feel more unsafe if I were Carla. Like, her right-hand man just got evicted a couple episodes ago. Like, maybe I'm not in the fold, you know?
She's pretty sure she's in the fold, and she's got Sean as her shield. Now, Chappie's, he's full in on this plan. He knows his name's being written down, which does worry him a little bit. And he, they could be playing him at this point, but like Warda, her premonition, they're going to keep it simple, and they're actually just going to go with this plan. So good on them. Vuna, back to the hot mess, Vuna.
Hot mess.
We're going to amp it up just a little bit here because now Tyson's mad at Teresa.
Of course he is, though.
You don't want to hear his name. She passed on too much information. She crossed the line here. So he's making it clear that he's mad at her and he's going to vote for her. And he ends up, after talking to Kieran about this, goes to Rainier and shows his idol. Trying to get in closer with him. Gain a little trust. And this...
I thought that Rainier was going to be like, where's the paper with that?
Oh, God.
But
where's it? I see your idol, but where's the paper? You don't hear that as often.
So when he did show this, though, I thought it was smart of Tyson, especially because he's unsure where the votes are going to go. He's going to be using this idol. Like, he's no fake out here. Like, he's using the idol on himself. If he's getting votes or not getting votes, whatever. But I do like that Rainier is like appreciative of this gesture and is saying like, I will take this information with me to the grave. I do not want to take this information back to my people. I really like that he was creating a sort of trust between them, even though they're not necessarily working together right now. I thought that was good gameplay for him.
I agree. I thought he and Dino both did such an amazing job of like taking in information and then keeping it like a steel trap. They did not pass on anything about Teresa or Tyson and, said, thank you for trusting me. I'm going to show you loyalty by keeping. I was super impressed with both of them and the way that they played with information, because information
Power.
so important. So Kieran comes up with an interesting plan at this point. And I'm not sure why, but I mean, I kind of get it. And I get, but it's like so risky that I'm like, really? Why?
I get the plan, and I agree. It was way too risky, because even if they want Teresa out, Teresa's still part of their original tribe. So it could be easy to be like, hey, like, let's keep the devil that we know with us. We can always have her go out. Let's still try to get this original Vuna. Let's get them out. And so I could easily see them, deciding to not be, honor this particular plan. It was a little bit confusing. So he tells them that Tyson has an idol. And
no, he doesn't.
Wait, no, he said to put 4 votes on Tyson.
Yeah.
And 2 votes on Teresa was going to come from him and
Tyson.
And then if Teresa has an idol, she will use it. And then, wait.
2 votes. So Kieran says, hey, guys, to make sure that I am with you guys.
Right, 2 and 2.
Put the 4 on Tyson. You guys don't have to change your vote. 4 on Tyson. 2 on we're going to do our 2 on Teresa. And then 2 can go on me.
Kieran. Right.
That's how much I want to, stop this mess. And basically, because he does know Tyson is going to play an idol, he's not revealing that, but he knows that. And he's, in his mind, I think, ensuring Teresa is the target and goes. But I just don't think he needed to risk himself to do it, but he's trying to like gain the favor and make sure he's really in.
I guess because they want to split the votes. So maybe he's thinking about the fact that like he's probably getting votes anyways. So he's setting up the votes that if that's the case, he won't have 3 votes and then he goes home. You know what I mean? Against, you know what I mean? Like it'll be 2-2 with him and Teresa instead of him having 3 votes and then Teresa only having 1 or 2, and then he would go home instead. So I think that's why he wanted to have 2-2, so that they would have to do the revote between the 2 of them. And because she was showing disloyalty and he was showing pure loyalty, then they would decide to keep him. But if that were me, I would probably decide to get rid of him. I'm sorry, I would. She's my original tribe mate.
Yeah, I don't know. But what we're seeing edit-wise, the vote was being split between Tyson and Teresa. So maybe I like what you're saying, that Kieran thought it was going to be split between him and Tyson, and he was just making sure that Teresa does get votes so that she can go. That's probably what was happening. But yeah, you're making some good points there. Like this is a great time to take Kieran out at this point. Like what are you even talking about? Like don't suggest yourself.
Ever. I mean, gosh. I know it's supposed to look like you're being honorable and like I wouldn't do that, because if you're willing to do that, you're willing to do a lot, and it would be perfect time to take you out.
Yeah. Very risky. Okay, well, they're up first for tribal. Sorry? Oh, Kieran, hi.
Can you explain your plan?
Oh, yeah. So you're saying that at this point it was between the 2 of you guys. Okay. Which is, how an edit goes. Like we don't get all the details. So yeah, you got to switch that target and make sure Teresa gets some votes. And also my next question while you're here is, did you guys not know that Teresa didn't have a vote? So you were including her at this point? Because mathematically I was trying to figure out who was supposed to vote for who. Because obviously Kieran only ends up with 1 vote because Teresa didn't have a vote. Hi, and thank you for joining. Okay, let's go to this tribal because, I'm glad they were up first. Marisha is coming in hot. She's ready to see the full parchment. She wants to see the idol. Let's lay it all out, Teresa. What you got? And Teresa's like, don't worry about it. Let's go to a vote, guys. I'm confident. Whatever.
Was she just playing confident in this moment, or what did she think that she had? the votes, because from what we saw, with that particular edit, it seemed as though like Tyson is not on your side anymore. Like any sort of plan you thought you might have had is gone. I'm just curious as to what she thought might have been going on. Did she still think it was a 3-3?
Yeah, no, I think she was nervous and had nothing else to play except play confident and hope. Was my take.
It's like, go for it. It's like, I got this. I'm strong. I mean, I almost wanted her to be looking around tribal to find Santoni's idol over there. Like, that's kind of what I was hoping was going to happen.
I can't wait for that moment. I can't wait till she like grabs it. Okay, Karen, apparently you had all the information. You knew that she didn't have an idol or a vote, and you thought, so you thought Marisha was going to vote for you and Teresa. So you agreed that, but you knew you weren't going to get that vote. Oh my God.
Oh, so that's why he offered himself up, because Max will get one vote. It'll never be a split between him and anybody. Cool. Okay. Gotcha. Fine. We take it all back.
And yes, earlier we were talking about what the heck this food was. So yes, tell us how delicious it was. And Sean, by the time you get to tribal, you are so mad that these people are eating. That was hilarious. You couldn't stop watching them. And then you called them the jury, and I loved it. Okay, but we're on Vuna's tribal. We're thinking Teresa's playing confident. Not sure if she actually is confident. And then now Tyson is whispering, vote for me. Why is this? Are we just doing extra? Are we just doing more than we need to? What's happening here, Tyson?
This is another one of my questions here. So did Kieran not fully explain to Tyson what the plan was? Because I was like, oh my God, is he going to undo everything? Like, I was like, no. And so he's trying to get, Tyson's trying to get everybody to put all the votes on him. And Nico's like, is something going on here? And like, everybody's like, we know what the plan is. And like, do we know what the plan is? I'm like, why did all this chaos happen when I thought it was pretty locked down? And then it seemed like Tyson didn't know what was happening.
Right. I'm like, Tyson, why are you asking for votes? Kieran has set forth a plan. So yeah, maybe Kieran didn't tell Tyson. And also, did Dino really not know the contingency? Does that mean Renier didn't talk to Dino? Like, those two seem like they were in on everything, but like maybe Dino was just acting because like he's been doing that very, very well. Of just like, I don't know what's going on. What? I'm not in on everything. I have no idea. But then now Kieran's got to openly explain the contingency plan. Whew, this tribal was exhausting.
I know. And like the whole, like the fear of it was all the collateral damage of an idol play. Like that is what the boogeyman of this tribal was, is collateral damage. And so I just didn't understand I thought it was really like ABC, what is going to happen? Everybody knows who's going to vote for. Tyson's playing his idol. Teresa's going home. It was pretty locked in as a viewer, even though it was quite scrambly. And so when he started saying that, I was like, whoa, is this going to mess up something? Like, is Kieran going to go home now instead of Teresa because of whatever new, fear that's being instilled?
Yeah, I'm honestly at this point going, this is Kieran's demise. Oh, darn. This is it. This is going horribly wrong. I think Dino is acting. I think Dino knew everything, but I have no idea. That's just my guess. So we do go to vote, and then obviously Tyson is going to play his idol, Hello, and then some people are surprised by this because that was partially a secret. Then we see our votes. We see Tyson. Then we see Teresa. Then we see Kieran, and we're just like, oh boy, who's it gonna be? But it does end up being Teresa.
Yes, the no vote, then Teresa.
Yeah. Oh, they had to show us the no vote because that factored in here.
Well, yeah, because at least if there was a no vote was actually a vote. I don't know who she would have voted for. Let's guess it would have been Kieran. So it would have probably been the same outcome. And so, Yeah, I mean, it seems like Teresa was going home no matter what. But
Yeah.
definitely a valiant effort for sure. One thing though that I was so frustrated by, because I did want to see the full blind side, but Kieran offered up like what his plan was right before they voted, and I was like, you don't need to do this. No, I don't want you to offer up the play. Like I just wanted it to play out and just see some shocked faces. So I was a little bit sad that the full blind side wasn't there.
Yeah, true. But I was still nervous because I was not sure how this last vote was going to come in. I'm nervous. I didn't want any of these people to leave. So I was sad about all of it. I was really excited that Teresa did everything she possibly could, and just a little disappointed that she might have taken just one step too far and it backfired. And so.
And I wish that Anesu could have like contributed even in the tribal council. Like she didn't know what was going on, so like she couldn't really add in any 2 cents or whatnot. Like she just kind of has to sit there and see how it all plays out. It's definitely would have been more beneficial for them to have kept Teresa in the game if they could. But I think that Anesu needed to have been around camp to smooth things out and just make everybody a little bit less scrambly and just kind of rope everybody in. So I'm still rooting for these people. You know, I want everybody to do well. So we'll see what happens next week. But I was very sad that they lost Teresa.
Yeah, I'm glad that she got that little extra, that first immunity island. She was safe and she got to stay a little bit longer and wasn't just out too soon. So I do appreciate that. Okay, so they get to go over now and eat in their spectator seats. And Nicole this is when we notice she has her pina colada and she has to eat so much. But they're going to do it. And then Zomba walks in and boy, they can't take their eyes off of the food. Sean ain't happy, not about it.
I mean, they do this sometimes in U.S. Survivor as well. Like they just love making people, jealous of the food situation. Recently, I rewatched Palau, and I believe they did it with it wasn't great. It was like stew and bread and root beer, but they still were eating watching a tribal council where like they're just jealous because they're starving. So definitely. I feel like this is like a national item, so like they're probably all very familiar with these sausage type things, and so they're probably just like they know what it tastes like. That would have been miserable. It's like if they were all eating poutine, and I'd be seeing them eating poutine.
So Canadian.
Syrup.
Oh yeah, give me that maple syrup. I just love like Miko's trying to talk to them, and they're like just staring over there. Then we get a little bit of conversation about, the bonds. You still have these bonds with these Sean starts us off with like, haha, jury's sitting over there. Get used to it. Love it. Love that one. But then Nico's like, yeah, do you care about these people anymore? Like, you working with these people? And honestly, you have to
say no. It's my new tribe.
Yeah, you have to. I don't know if it's a lie or not, but it doesn't matter because you have to be like, who? New phone, who dis? Like, what? Did I work with them ever? No way. Like that's just what you have to say.
6 days ago. Come on now.
Yeah, you can't be like, I love them, hate these people, love those guys. Like that's not gonna fly. So, we get a little soundbite from Carla that she's a little worried, but she's going to stick to her gut. But I do feel like she was blindsided. Like, I think she might have been a little worried, but she's a fairly confident person, and I don't think she actually thought she was going.
Well, I thought that she might have been tipped off a little bit because Chappies was being so charming, and like it just didn't come across as somebody that knew that they were going home. I mean, you could always spin it being like, well, he's just being a good sport. He knows he's getting the votes and going home. He wants to leave on a happy note, maybe. But like, he's not, in my opinion, the type of player that's just going to lay down and just allow himself to be voted out. So the fact that he was just being quite calm, charming at a vote where he's supposed to be leaving, I would be tipped off for sure if I was Carla that something was going differently than was maybe expected.
Right. But I also feel like that kind of stuff is what we just get in the edit. Because I think Chappies was a little bit worried, but they're probably not going to give us a lot of that. I don't know. Maybe they would have to just throw us off the scent. So our votes are pretty simple here. They go back and forth. Carla, Chappies, and then Carla. And that is as expected. It's just Carla and Warda who are out of the loop, and they're the ones who vote for Chappies. And so Carla is bye-bye, but we knew that this was coming.
Definitely. But it was really sad that how she just was like, she just waved at them. Like, she didn't say, just like, I did feel bad for her because I do think that she's a fan of the show. I do think that she was trying to play the game. I think she messed up in the beginning of the game and wasn't able to recover and didn't realize how poorly she like messed things up for herself. And so I could have been on her side, but she just wasn't seeing what was really going on and allowing herself to be on the outside. And so I would love to see her come back on like I don't know if it would be an All-Stars, but like in some sort of like repeat player, because I do think she could probably learn from her mistakes and come back as a really strong player because she's not bad at the game. She just she might get too emotional and not assess things perfectly to help her. So
yeah,
sad to see her go.
She's an emotional player, and I agree. She's not bad at the game. I think she just came in too hard and fast too soon. You know, when you do that early, it's real hard to sustain and like keep it going. You're gonna probably get out there before jury or early jury because you just played so hard and so fast. I mean, we see that a lot. So yeah, smart cookie, but
especially like if we can go back a couple episodes when she was so adamant with Mike about the fact that she was never going to trust Chappies and Paul, like no, and I think that was the moment where she should have maybe been like, okay, if I'm really not feeling these people, they're probably really not feeling me either. I should maybe nurture that relationship a little bit because if I'm going after them, they're probably going after me. And so I think that there is where she lost her footing and lost sight of what she was doing in the game because she needed to nurture those two relationships because they're going to be targeting her. They of course they're going to be. You don't like them. You want them out.
Right. Absolutely. Sean, I messed up the joke. It's new phone. Who dis? But
I got the joke.
Number. You're supposed to just get it. You're supposed to
I got it.
Pretend I did it right. Okay. I did it wrong.
I also, if we're clearing up the misspeaking, I said pickled, but I meant peppers for those sandwiches. I said pickled, but I meant peppers. You know, pickled peppers? No, but peppers. Peppers topping.
Yeah. I think it sounds like a lot like what we have in America. We call it an Italian.
Hot Italian sausage.
It's like big in the Midwest, like Chicago. They love their Italian sausages with those like peppers and onions on it. I think it was very similar to that. But it looked delicious and amazing. And yeah, so we were wondering if a swap was going to come up again. But this week they were just like, no, we'll just take out 2 people. So yeah, I'm wondering if we're gonna get a swap.
So now. What? We're at 14, right? Is what Nico said. So if there's a swap next week, so there'll be 7-7. Would they just have the swap for 1 and then merge, or would they do it for 3 and then merge? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I don't know.
Would they merge at 11 or at 13?
That is a very good question.
Or 12, maybe 12. I mean, I'm just assuming that's going to be 13 or 11 for the full jury, but maybe they'll do something weird, merge at 12. The first person is not part of the jury or something terrible like that.
I mean, they could definitely swap for just 1 week. I don't see them needing to go 3, but I don't know. Yeah. Are they going to swap again?
I kind of want to swap though, because I'm really, okay, my 2 people right now is Santoni. Actually, I like a lot of these people now.
I know.
But I'm down with Santoni. I'm down with the Nesu. So those are like my 2 female like powerhouses. I want them to do well. And I think that they are setting themselves up to do really well. And then I'm Team Sean and Team Chappies as well. And then Kieran like became a little bit of a dark horse in this episode for me. So
right? We didn't see that coming. It's Sean and Chappies, like they're a duo now in my head. And I don't know if that's real or if it's just certain, like randomly they've been having to vote together, but not really working together. I'm also really excited about Dino and Rainier. So like,
oh my God, I forgot about that.
yeah, there's a lot of people that I'm excited about and I feel like have potential, and we haven't necessarily gotten to see all of them. So I'm kind of excited to get to merge. Like I want to get to merge,
I also want to know what's going to happen with Nicole, because I'm wondering if like, she hasn't, Teresa's gone now, so that might not play out, but like, it seems as though she's not that well liked potentially. So I'm wondering if she's going to be on the bottom of something. And I would love to see her fight and scramble and like try to get herself out of a situation. I want to see how she works for it. And even Marisha, like she's also somebody that I want to see how they do moving along. So yeah, I'm with you. I want to see the merge so we can see everybody playing to win.
Yeah, Marisha, though, we haven't, like, we've seen her do so well at, like, challenges, but this is the first episode we realized that she, can be very vocal. And then I was like, oh, is she like another Carla who, like, really wants to get her voice out there, really wants to, like, this is who I want out. I'm pushing for this, which is always entertaining, whether it works in the game or not. Always entertaining.
Were you shocked at the challenge when people had dropped out, where they started talking back and like across tribal chit chat?
Yes.
I was like, oh, it's so blatant.
Yes, it was very blatant. And I was also just trying to figure out, I was like, wait, are y'all friends? Is that why you're talking? Like, so hard to remember because they swapped so early.
I'm still confused.
Yeah. Yes, loving this season. Like we said at the beginning, we are headstrong into BB23 right now, but so excited to have like our little break for Survivor South Africa. And honestly, did you see Survivor Australia is starting in a couple weeks?
I heard about it. I don't know when. Okay, July 18th? Okay.
Yes, they just announced July 18th, and I'm a little sad that it's so soon because I don't know I can fit it in with Big Brother, But I really want to. So I'm going to try, you guys. I'm going to try.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about what's going on because, like, even for myself, I'm covering Love Island UK and US on the daily.
And you've got Bachelorette, right?
Bachelorette, and then Big Brother's starting.
Oh, it's a lot.
I mean, I don't really do anything else right now, so I might as well like get these 3 months in and just be like, whoa. But with Australian Survivor, they usually do it every single day, and that is they're like an hour and a half episode. So,
which is so awesome that Australia does that for their people, but it is hard to keep up with when you are doing a lot of other shows. So I might have to save that until after Big Brother, but I will definitely watch it.
Rewatching the off season.
Yeah, maybe I will. We'll see about that. But then we're going to have Survivor US in the fall. So, which
is shocking. I mean, just out of curiosity, though, how do you feel about it not being 39 days anymore?
I'm actually okay with it.
Don't you want to hear it be like 39 days, one Survivor? Like, what is it? 24 days? Like,
it's okay. He can say it. Mm-hmm. 16 castaways, 24 days, one Survivor. Like, I think we'll be okay,
I don't know if we're going to be okay with it.
I think we're going to be okay. I don't know. I mean, this is what I'm saying preseason. I'm like, I don't think we're even going to notice. And then, come to those last like few episodes, I'm going to be like, I am noticing, you guys. This is way too short.
Well, I just feel like it's so much easier personally. Like obviously Survivor's super challenging no matter how many days it is. But 24 days seems just easy peasy. Yeah, 39 days is nothing. Even in Australia, they do longer than 39 days. I'm like, no, just 39 days, man. Like, it's perfect. It's what I want.
I say 1 week is too long. So the fact that you were like 24 days is too easy. I've already passed out.
For $1 million? For $1 million.
That's pretty nice.
Like, you have to withstand 24 days. That's, to me, seems a little bit easy. That's like usually before like merge. It's like,
Great. We still have 14 episodes. Fantastic. I don't know how we're going to do that, but it sounds great. Wow. I wonder if all of the like other Survivor players are going to like look down on season 41 and 42 and be like, but y'all only did 24 days. So,
I mean, there's an asterisk. There's an asterisk. Do you think that they will stick with it, or do you think they'll go back to 39 after, this next year?
I think they'll go back. Unless this turns out to be amazing and it for some reason feels better, but I doubt it. I think they'll go back.
So, I mean, I don't love change in these type of things.
Welcome. Now,
see, I don't
final fire challenge.
I love developing the relationships. That's what I find the most interesting. And so, with it being accelerated like that, I mean, it will probably allow people to make ballsier moves. They might just be like, I don't care. I haven't known them that long.
Time. We gotta go.
You know what I mean? So they might do a lot more risk taking, but I just don't. But the risk taking doesn't matter to me that much without the friendship being there. That they're like, can I go? You know what I mean? They have to go against their friendship. So if they're not really having as much time to build those relationships, I don't know if the payoff of having these great blind sides or these big moves happening with only 24 days. So that's just my thought.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I'm gonna watch it regardless and have my opinion.
Of course. We will judge when we get to watch it. You guys, thank you for joining us live in the chat. We love it. We love your feedback. We love your jokes. We love your insight. Love it all. And if you're joining us later, please leave a comment. Let us know how you felt about these two tribals. Two people had to go. Who you're excited about. Are we going to swap again? Are we going to have a merge? All of that stuff. And make sure you are following. I don't have your name this whole time. I didn't have your name up there.
Okay.
Hopefully everybody knows by now. Hopefully you are also subscribed to Reality Realness.
It's because Reality Realness with 2 S's spelled regular wasn't available on something. And so I was like, hey man, that's going to be my thing. 3 S's.
3 S's. And on social media, all that. Follow both of us for your Big Brother and your Survivor intel and a million other things that Chantele is doing. And a million other shows.
Always
Love
online,
Island.
always everywhere.
All of it. Yes. You guys, thank you so much. We will see you next time. Bye.